What is up? How is everybody? I'm good. I just got in from work. It is Monday evening, probably close to midnight. We had another crazy evening. It's like we've been balls to the wall since Valentine's Day. It's so funny too because Nashville's usually like really dead until March. Like between January and March, it's usually fairly quiet as far as like entertainment and hospitality. And I just kept declaring and praying that we would have a busy winter. And oh my God, like it has been full on. Everyone is just sort of frazzled. We were supposed to have like this quiet night tonight, and we believed that. And I was like, I don't think that's what's gonna happen. And sure enough, it wasn't. We had a lot of people come in unexpectedly, so a little frazzled. No mind that. We're here for our weekly anchor message. So Sunday nights we do our weekly energy oracle forecast, and that gives us sort of the energetic weather for the week, kind of like the conditions we'll find ourselves in. So go back and watch that video from yesterday. And then our anchor message for the week, I do every Monday, tells us the kinds of lessons and assignments that are going to be like the key focus of the week. So I will suggest go follow me on Instagram. I'm Liz_Taylor_Magick, Magic with a CK like the channel. I write our Monday, Wednesday, Friday readings and post them there in like midday, and then I come here later at night to talk about them. So if you want to get a jump start, you can go take a look at them there earlier in the day. And a lot of times like what I write will be sort of some different thoughts than what we go into by the time, evening comes around and we're talking about things. All right, so let us begin. Ooh, and thank you for watching. If it's your first time joining us, welcome. If you like this video by the end of it, give it a like. In fact, just go ahead and give it a like now. And if you decide that you hate my guts by the end of this video, you can unlike, and I won't hold it against you. Leave a comment, emoji, any little thing that you take action, anything that you do to take action on a video helps the messages get spread out to other people who need them. I had some really moving comments come in over the weekend about people who had found the Secret Teachings of Jesus videos, and some questions that had been plaguing on them for a long time had been answered in one of those videos. So the fact that you guys like them and comment helps people find them, right? So you're helping me just by being here. All right, so from the Wild Unknown Archetypes, which is the one of the decks I like to use for anchor messages, we pulled the Comic, followed by the Unseen, followed by the Medallion. So these are our archetypal energies. And then underneath, we got Emperor, Three of Wands, and the World. Actually, it was Three of Wands, Emperor, and the World. And then we had an extra 3 come out, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many cards. We got, underneath the Three of Wands, we got Four of Wands, then followed by Knight of Pentacles, followed by Two of Wands. And so at the end of the reading, I'll post the photograph of the whole layout so you guys can look to see how they interrelate, but I'll just hold them up as we go. So overall, I felt like the first thing I noticed about the comic had come up recently, and maybe within the last 2 weeks, the comic archetype had come up to encourage us that even though some people dismiss laughter, silliness, the jokester, there's a sacred there's like a sacred mission in laughter and in being the comic. And so many times what the comic does is they point things out in society and get people talking about things that are, oh wow, that is absurd. Why didn't we see it like that before? And it gives this soothing salve over a situation. It's like the truth sneaks in underneath the laughs. The laughs provide the space and the soothing salve for the healing to occur, right? And the consciousness can slip in while you're loose and malleable and you're not defensive and guarded, right? So the sacred fool is very valuable. They're almost like the poet in that we underestimate their importance and their value in our society. But I mean, how many times, this is something that I like to do. If I'm going through a stressful period, or if I have a time that's emotionally challenging, or if I'm having a bad day, I like to turn on some stand-up comics and just discover, new comics that I don't know. And sure enough, after a few videos, I'm back in a good mood again. And I really think that there's a holy purpose for comedy. And it worries me when people start to get too sensitive in the world about what we can joke around about and what we can't. Because if we can't joke around anymore, like, we're losing something very, very valuable, very important, right? And so also the fact that we can laugh at each other together, it's like everyone's equal and everyone's fair game. And I think that becoming overly sensitive is ruining our sense of humor as a planet. And so I think we need to lighten up again. I also think that I noticed that the tear here and on this kitten clown, and it just struck me because I felt like I've always felt a strong connection to that idea of the tears of a clown, because the laughter masks the deeper pain within. And sometimes we laugh to keep from crying. I know in the hardest moments of my life, when I've been in the depths of despair, when I've been grieving someone who's maybe even just died, like, there's always a moment where I can find something to laugh about, something that's funny, that breaks the tension, that lightens the heart up again and gets everybody laughing. There can also be an aspect that we laugh to cover up, and we laugh to mask, and we laugh to anesthetize and avoid the discomfort. And that's when we can go into the shadow. If you find yourself being super sarcastic or super facetious about things, there's some kind of pain underneath that. Something that's not a need, maybe, that's not being met, or something that's being ignored. So pay attention if you start feeling like you notice yourself being really sarcastic or biting. There may be something under that salt that you need to deal with or heal, or allow yourself to really acknowledge the pain instead of hiding it behind jokes. I feel like there was something else. But I think that it's possible that something may have been really harsh, or something may come up this week that is harsh, like a harsh message. In the new moon workshop, I tried to get it posted Sunday morning, but I had to end up going to work before the editing had been complete. Like, it was like a matter of like the export or whatever, so I didn't get to post it until later Sunday night. But you should still go back and watch the workshop. New moon energy is good for the whole month, not just the 2 weeks of the waxing cycle. But I remembered there were things in the reading that suggested that something uncomfortable would present that is going to illuminate an early childhood wound or fear. And then in our tarot cards, that was out of the straightforward oracle part in our Celtic cross. In the clarifying tarot cards, there was, I remember there was a page of swords. There was something else, and it made me think that someone might say something harsh or blunt this week that could be hurtful or jarring. And so that's kind of what I saw when I saw this little crying kitten. I saw someone who is just happy and lighthearted and a sweet little kitten, and something has been very hurtful. And so you can acknowledge that. You don't have to laugh it off and pretend it didn't hurt. Sit with those feelings. I had a very unpleasant message just show up today in the mail. It was like an ambush. It was a pretty unpleasant letter folded up in a nice, sweet card. Kind of like getting anthrax. It was very hurtful. Mostly because it was attacking me for not being a good enough Christian. Not being the kind of Christian that other Christians approve of. And like, I don't give a shit about people judging me like that anymore. I think the people who are regularly here, like we all know that's not true about me, that I take my relationship with Jesus and God very seriously. But yeah, so that wasn't the hurtful part. I think the hurtful part was that this person just does something like this and they don't even know that that's like a fucking shitty thing to do. And it completely destroys your trust with the person. You know, it's so backhanded. It's so passive aggressive. You know, it's like, oh, I don't want to discuss this in person, so I'm just going to send it to you in the mail so you'll open it and then, you know, have no choice but to see what I have to say to you. So yeah, if you have something like that, allow yourself to feel the feelings that come with it, but don't let it steal your joy. Because what happens is, as soon as we start to up-level, as soon as we start to expand, as soon as we start to transform our negativity, especially through joy, the opponent always wants to come and shit in your cereal. Is it not the fact that like every time everybody's having like a good time, somebody or some influence or situation or circumstance plays out to try to ruin the situation? And it's at that moment where you have to choose, okay, I can either let this ruin my energy, I can let this rob me of my joy, rob me of my focus, rob me of everything. If I had let this really ruin my day, I would have been so upset that I would have taken a cut tonight when they offered cuts to be cut out of work. And I would have missed out on several $100s. Just because somebody kicked me in the gut, you know? And so when people throw that shit at you, it's their own projection. You just send it right on back. You sweep it up and get it out of your house and get it in the fucking trash can where it belongs, and you get it off of your mind and out of your heart. But you don't let that person shit all over you, because it has nothing to do with you and it has everything to do with them. Underneath the comic, I feel like the columns were, like the stories were very strong in the vertical columns. I feel like Spirit, the unseen, is here in the middle of this reading through the whole thing. Spirit is telling you, hey, I'm trying to give you a heads up to cushion the blow of this and let you know ahead of time that it's not you, and to protect your joy. because your ship is coming in. The Three of Wands is a card that talks about the first level of completion. When you've worked hard and you've had a vision and it's starting to come together and you can see it, the pieces starting to fall into place. And so you're starting to see that ship come into the port, and the next phase of your journey is about to begin. So hold on to your hope, because when you are about to manifest something, when you are up leveling and blessings are about to come into your life, your opponent, who's always with you, antagonizing you every step of the way, who up levels with you, is always going to try to knock you down and ruin it for you. Because when you fall out of that high vibration, you fall out of resonance with that eternal, unwavering, strong signal that you were sending out, right? You've suddenly broken connection with the signal. So don't bypass whatever this is. Sit with it and let it pass, but don't let it throw you off course. Don't let it ruin your hopes. Don't let it put out your fire, because your ship is coming. And everything is going to be okay. Underneath this at the bottom is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is about happy times, feelings of fulfillment, being at peace. This card also talks about weddings and marriages and sometimes graduations. So it's a big turning point. One of our straightforward oracle cards from our Celtic cross in the new moon reading was graduation time. We've completed this cycle of growth, and now we're just in this like limbo between what we just finished and what we're about to start. So enjoy a minute to regroup, right? To appreciate this moment right now before it gets crazy again and you're building towards something else. So let's see. The unseen spirit, Holy Spirit, is watching out and protecting over you. And was for me too. There have been several messages in readings recently letting us know that people might start throwing shade. People might start hating on us for up-leveling. Might throw shade because they're jealous or whatever. It doesn't matter. But we've been warned. And we've been warned that one of our biggest themes of the year is standing up for ourselves and our authenticity. When people tell you that you're wrong and that you need that, like, that the authentic you, like, they're throwing shame at you. They're trying to tell you that you're not okay the way you are. It's like we're supposed to fight for that uniqueness in us this year. It's not to bypass our growth and transformation, all right? We are all taking responsibility for ourselves to ascend, to transform, right? But like if somebody throws shade on you like they did me, and they project judgments at you, hoping that you'll change so that you're more accommodating to them, so that you're more convenient to them, so that you fit in better, so that you're not as, that you don't put them out of their comfort zone. Like, we're being told that this year this could happen, and that people might want to, put us down for things that make us different or unique, or the things that are specifically leading us towards our purpose, because the opponent wants to stop you. So the opponent uses people around you, and it uses their insecurities to pull the strings to get them to say the things that the opponent wants to use to trick you, or to put you down, or to take you out, or to ruin your joy, or to throw you off of your path. So be aware of that, because we've also been pulling the card creation phase 3 a lot. And also in the look ahead at the 2023 predictions, there was a lot about those like people trying to like project on you and or throw judgments or judge you harshly or critically. Like, so brace yourself. I felt like this was a bit early. I was waiting for this in March or May, but it came sooner. And it's so crazy because there was mention of it in the new moon. There was mention of it in early other videos. I had a dream last night that had random symbols that when I looked them up in dream moods had to do with this figure in relation to me. And then like these random animals and like stuff that happened. I don't want to talk about the dream, but basically the dream was like, someone's trying to shame you and you're trying to like get them out of your house so that they don't pollute your house. Well, the house is your soul. We've been working on transforming our souls. We've been working on rewriting our subconscious programming. And here this person is coming in trying to throw shit all over my fresh soul, right? We're not going to do it. We're not having it. So Spirit is trying to warn us, trying to cushion the blow, trying to protect us from the pain of like when these things hit. And it's also trying to prop us up, like open book quiz and be like, hey, this is part of your test. Like, just don't let it affect you. Bounce back as quick as you can. Keep going, keep trying. Because Spirit is leading you every step of the way. The Emperor, in a positive light, is a leader that has sovereignty over every kingdom in their world. Multiple kingdoms. They have an empire under their control. So they're a very astute leader. They're strong. They're capable. They have everything under control. They're like the King of Pentacles times 10. It's like the Emperor has their shit together. But in this reading, I feel like, yes, because it's with the Three of Wands and also the Two of Wands, I feel like this is talking about not just like our internal world. Like, we have been cultivating self-mastery from the inside. And so now our external world is going to start reflecting that. We are building that now. And the fact that like these stones are being thrown at us, it's just further evidence that thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Like the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So it's like when you have that inner peace within and you have certainty in the Creator and it's unshakable, that starts to open up opportunities in your life, right? It doesn't matter that every year we're dead in January. This year, not gonna be dead in January. I have certainty in the light, and I have certainty that if I choose unwaveringly to have that certainty, that it will come to fruition. And boy, has it ever. Look at me. I look like I've been through a war because we've had so much business at the restaurant. So Spirit, Holy Spirit, from within you is connected to your spirit, your higher self. And the more you surrender your own will to the guidance and the flow and the harmony and the leadership of the universe, of divine, of God in your life, you fall into this harmonious cosmic flow of abundance and blessing. It's amazing. But I do believe that we are being guided, that if we can keep our spirit calm, stable, self-mastered, certain, our steps are being ordered. The Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady, one methodical step at a time. So Spirit is overseeing our path, overseeing our mission, overseeing our purpose, and is making sure that it is guiding us and leading us every step of the way. So don't worry. Don't think that it's never going to happen, because it is. The ship is coming in. Just hold on to the certainty and continue to tune in to your higher power, to your higher wisdom, right? And this is not because we're subservient and we're afraid of God and we feel like we have to be obedient and God has to be in control or else we'll be cursed. It's not like that at all. It's out of joy. It's out of love. It's out of excitement, because you know what? I believe that God manifests through the universe, and in its loving and benevolence is always trying to take care of us, and it's always trying to lead us towards the most beautiful, fulfilling version of our life. All the time, always. It's divine is never going to put you in a situation that's going to be abusive, miserable, unrewarding, against your like natural talents and abilities and nature, right? We are forced against our nature as far as personal growth. We need to be forced out of what's comfortable to us, what comes easy, so that we can grow, but not in a way where we are completely abandoning ourselves and going against our true authenticity. It's been suggested to me a lot in my life that I should just be like, get like a job in a 9-to-5 situation. And I wonder, like, if people know me at all. I would rather pretty much do anything. I would rather take up construction work than sit in an office. You know, it's just not me. I've tried it before. I don't belong there. It's ridiculous for me to be in an office. And I also, like, I'm not equipped to do it. I don't know what's going on. I'm miserable the whole time. I have too much energy, and then I become like, lethargic from just like sitting still. I don't like it. And so it's like people, they want to project things on you. And so I feel like a lot of times we get afraid that if we obey God, or like if we follow God's plan, it's going to make us have to do some awful thing that's like not really like authentic to us. Like I used to have this like weird irrational fear when I was growing up, that I wouldn't get to work in movies or be an actress because I had to be a missionary, and I didn't want to be a missionary. And it just wasn't my thing. Like, I just didn't want to do that. And it's so funny because I worked in film for 13 years or so, and what I really liked doing the whole time was spiritual work, and I wanted to start this channel for so long to essentially be a missionary. But it's in my way, right? It's not, in that way that didn't seem right for me, growing up, that filled me with dread and didn't seem like the kind of life I wanted to live, right? But now it's like, oh my gosh, I already tried the film thing and it wasn't fulfilling. And now I'm doing my thing spiritually and preaching the gospel around the world, but I'm doing it in a way that's like the way that, that's authentic to me. I'm entertaining people in, doing my little show. So, it's safe to trust that God has pieces of your destiny set out for you that are wonderful, right? It's not that every single part of your life is planned out and you don't have any choice, right? A lot of the major aspects and components are, but what you do within that is up to you. The story can kind of go in any direction because of your choices and your free will. I wanted to almost do a whole video on this, but I just will bring up the concept now. I realized recently that life, as far as from a Kabbalistic lens, is like the show Curb Your Enthusiasm. In Kabbalah, there's a concept called tikkun, and that's your soul healing. And if you've been watching the channel, you've heard me talk about it probably. And so the soul healing, the soul correction, you can see a blueprint of it from your astrological chart. You can gather a lot of the information there from your natal chart. But it talks about like your tikkun before you come here. It's like your parents are decided, the city that you're born and grow up in, your major failures, disappointments, people who champion you, like those major key elements are there in the script. But the rest of it is improvisation. So it's like every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the actors get the scenes. They're like, okay, you're going here, these people are going to be there, and this is sort of like the scenario, and this is like the key moment that causes the problem. Like Larry David says this thing, and then this whole thing unfolds around this thing that he says. So that's kind of like tikkun. It's like, okay, these major elements are like mapped out for you, but you guys get to decide like what you're going to say, how you're going to react in every moment. The training of Kabbalah teaches us how to prepare ourselves as a vessel to be able to receive, channel, share, and contain the light. And most of that work is done in our ability to refrain from our desire to react and be reactive, and pause long enough to observe the situation and look into the spiritual why it might be happening. If Creator was sending me a message through this, or if this challenge was serving me in some way, and I had to figure out whatever it is, no matter how it looks, this is serving me for some way, what do I think that would be, kind of thing. So everything is playing out to awaken that light inside of you, to break down the negativity that keeps that shrouded within so that it can radiate out. And so it's our job to claim our inheritance of free will and actually begin to live in enough presence and consciousness and take our time enough to actually use our free will instead of just reacting to everything from a state of default subconscious programming, right? So the unseen is orchestrating every step. All we need to do is regularly tune in to that quiet, soft, loving, wise voice within. It won't be the same tone as the mental chatter. It's not going to be harsh. It's not going to be anxious. It's not going to be panicked. It's not going to be, you know what, we need to find a solution for this, and we need to figure this out now. The Creator is the solution. The moment we relax, genius ideas will come. Go take a walk. Go take a nap. Go take a bath. But don't do anything from a state of reactivity. Because whatever we do, the seed level of our consciousness is present when we put energy into motion. So if we're in a fearful, chaotic, scarce state, there's going to be chaos. Even if we were, say, like, we planned out the message that we wrote perfectly, if we send even a perfectly worded letter in a bad state of mind or when our energy is jacked up, it somehow will get misinterpreted. It'll land, it won't stick the landing, right? So you want to press send when you feel certain, when you feel at peace, at ease, right? And that's with anything. It's like, it's not just with sending messages. It's, it's these big actions that we take. Let's see. And medallion. So the medallion is like, I love this because it's like the universe is like, hey, we see you. We know what you've come through, and we know what you've been doing to try to transform. And we see that this shitty challenge is going to come up and it hurts, but it's part of your growth. And it's part of the test that's going to prepare you to have the vessel that you need for your dreams to come true, right? Because we can't be shaken by people's projections and still have influence. What gives God so much power, what gave Jesus so much power on earth, was that he was unwavering in his energy, in his mindset, in his consciousness, in his unconditional love, in his unconditional faith and certainty in the light. It is your unwavering consistency that creates power and potency. Not wishy-washy, up and down, back and forth, but consistency. That's why people who have been in long-term depression, the depression is so powerful. It's so hard to get out of because it's so consistent, right? Rather than someone who's moody, up and down, right? Easier to pop in and out. Consistency equals power. So if you want to be the more influential person, if you want your energy to make a difference, it has to be consistent. You have to train yourself to bounce back quick, right? And you don't have to, but it certainly helps you if you do. And so Medallion is here because Spirit is acknowledging all the work that we've done. And that this is this initiation moment that we're coming through that's very difficult, but we're about to be rewarded our medallion. The medallion is like a talisman. It's like you passed go and collected the $200. This is the universe's like token of victory to you. It's like, this is your Medal of Honor. We know how far you've come. Like, we've seen all the work that you're doing. And you're this close. You're this close. You just have to hold on to the certainty in the darkness. That's the test. The test is to see how consistent you can be when nothing looks certain, but you choose certainty. Nothing will ever feel certain in this world because nothing is certain in this world. This world is completely false. Everything that feels physical and tangible is an illusion. These are particles of light packets, light years apart. Nothing is really solid. Every cell in my body is dying off and being reborn at all times, right? So nothing is permanent. Therefore, nothing in this life is going to be certain. So we have to choose how to cultivate certainty without the conditions reinforcing that. No matter what the outer conditions are, we can choose to believe that any second, knowing that if we can keep our faith beyond reason intact, that the creator, the universe, will orchestrate itself to self-correct, to turn everything, that situation, on its head and flip it in your favor. Underneath the medallion, we got the world, which is lesson learned. It's like, hey, you've come through the entire major arcana of archetypal lessons, and you've come to the end of this cycle. And now it's like the world is your oyster. You can go anywhere from here. But the lesson, the cycle is complete. So it's like you fast go, collected $200. This cycle is wrapping up in a very celebratory sense. It's just that final exams are never very fun. And Two of Wands. Two of Wands is here as our last card. And I feel that this is like, okay, now that we're finished here, where are we going to go next? And so Two of Wands does kind of have that vibe. It's like we're getting a handle and we're getting a different perspective now, right? We're getting above our circumstances and getting a different perspective, a higher perspective, right? She has the world in her hands. I feel that is, you have your world well in hand. You have a world of opportunities here, and she's looking to the moon, that intuitive guidance, right? Trusting the call within is leading her somewhere that she is being she has a purpose, right? That will serve a purpose. The Two of Wands talks about being somewhere and being ready to go. Like you've got all your stuff and now you're waiting for your collaborators, or you're waiting for like the next step. Like you're waiting to take the next step, or to have the collaborators, or for something to open up as a vehicle to move you forward, right? It's like we're waiting. We've called the ship at this point. We've sent for the ship. We have all of our bags. We're at the port, and now we're waiting. And so the Three of Wands is like, oh, okay, I finally see the ship is getting closer. So we're ready to set sail on this new adventure. It's just these last few weeks of winter have to do their thing to end that 2022 cycle and finish out all of it out. And then when spring comes, when Aries season comes in, it's go time, right? Things are really going to shift and it's going to feel a lot lighter and brighter. But right now during Pisces season, it's the last call for purging. Last chance to really dig up that old family stuff, those old subconscious beliefs and programs that we just don't realize are driving the show a lot of the time. This is like a perfect moment to really get to the bottom to the bottom of all of that, and recalibrate and reflect on who we are becoming now, who we have discovered that we have become through this transformation. And we need to make sure that that is solidified so that we're sure of ourselves and we're grounded and we're consistent and we're eternal and we're unwavering and unchanging when people try to come in and shit sling at us and throw us off our game and make us feel like, I don't know, put down, or the way that they're trying to make us feel small or wrong, right? Don't let this happen. Because it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, you don't have to be doing anything controversial or taboo. You can just be doing something to step out of the box or better yourself. And let me tell you, the people around you that are insecure, that like you to be at like a comfortable level for them, they're going to hate on you regardless of what you're doing. So let them hate, right? Let them be miserable. So sorry for them. But don't waste your energy on them. Keep focused on you, because you're, at the end of the day, you're the only person who's ever going to have to answer for yourself to the Almighty. And when the Almighty is looking at you going like, well, why didn't you use your gifts? Like, why didn't you follow this dream? Like, why didn't you stay true to yourself? What are you going to say? Oh, well, a bunch of people didn't approve of me and they thought that I was wrong. And the Creator is like, but I approved of you and I was trying to get you to do this the whole time. That was your assignment to come here. Because when we leave this physical world, like, we don't get to transform our inner stuff. Like, that just goes with us, right? This is where it happens. This is where all the transformation happens. So I got all of these notifications come up. I couldn't see if I was even recording anymore. So yeah, so just don't let people throw you off your game, because that's how the opponent is going to be fucking with you over the next few weeks, over the next couple of months. Hopefully it's just a couple of isolated incidences or one or whatever, but just brace yourself, because you're going forward on your journey and you will be challenged on it. That's what the universe does. We go through a gauntlet essentially. But yeah, keep doing your thing. Don't take that as a sign that you should quit or give up or that you're in the wrong. This is creation phase 3. Creation phase 1 is a passive desire. It's the spark of the idea, but you're just like, oh, that'd be nice. Creation phase 2 is when you decide, you know what? No, I'm really passionate about this idea and I'm going to go after it. I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen. And so towards the end of phase 2, the honeymoon wears off and the inspiration and the motivation wear off. And then you're just in a slog and a grind and you got to push through it, right? And so that brings you into phase 3. When you're in the slog and you're in the grind, and you're giving and you're sharing towards this goal, this dream, and it doesn't look like it's going to deliver. It might be could be a relationship, whatever it is. It doesn't look like it's going to pan out. Even though you put yourself out there, and even though you took the big risk, and it still looks like it's all going to blow up in your face. In phase 3, what is being asked of you is to hold on to your certainty, to keep pushing, and to persevere. Okay, the universe is like, all right, you want this? What are you willing to do for it? How far are you willing to push yourself, right? How easily are you going to give it up if somebody tries to come take it away from you? You know, once you get the success, once you get the relationship, do you have what it takes to sustain it? Can you continue on, or is this just like a moment that you're not really prepared to follow through after, you know? So I think we're doing good though. I think it's just a matter of not letting people shake us off our game. And also at the same time, considering that any message coming to you could serve a purpose to the creator. It's just, what is the message that you're taking away, right? Don't get caught up in the story. The mistake for me would be to get caught up in the story that the other person was projecting on me. The message that the creator wants me to take away is that I'm not going to abandon myself, and that I'm the one that has to answer to God in the end. And I'm the only one that has to live my life. And I trust the voice that's leading me from within. And I'm not looking outside of myself for permission or validation or instruction. I'm taking my orders from divine. And I am not going to abandon myself. And I am not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. And I'm not going to make myself small or dim myself to make other people more comfortable so that I can be more convenient, unless, I don't know, shameful or embarrassing to them. Get over it. And I hope that y'all feel the same amount of, I don't know, moxie right now, because I'm on fire. All right, I'm tired. I've been pushed to the brink, trying to remain consistent and unwavering. I am going to bed, guys. Ciao.